Q8 pilot videos are powered by Virtual Fly. Hello there friends and followers, and welcome to this X-Plane 11 video. Today we're going to be taking a look at the SSG Embraer E175/195, and we're going to be doing so from the beautiful city of Baku in Azerbaijan. This airport scenery is payware by the Jaworski Designs, and it is available on the X-Plane org store. Link to it will be provided in the description section of the video. When I originally made the purchase of the SSG Embraer, I elected to buy the package which includes both the Embraer 170 and 195. While the two aircraft differ in dimensions and performance, they are operated in exactly the same way, at least in the flight simulator. For the purposes of our video today, we are going to be taking a look at the SSG Embraer E195. Let us begin by examining the exterior 3D model and texture work. As you can see, SSG has done a very good job modeling this aircraft from the exterior perspective. The highly detailed model, high-resolution textures, and the application of PBR are all done to a very high standard. I like the details, especially on the wings and the engine area here. It looks very, very good indeed. So visually, I think this aircraft looks very good from the exterior. My final remarks on the exterior 3D model and texture work is that SSG has done a reasonable job to create a high-quality rendition of the Embraer E195/170. It is a highly detailed model, quite crisp and sharp, and definitely very authentic. Welcome to the 3D cockpit of the SSG Embraer E195. As you can see, the interior 3D modeling and texture work is done to an acceptable standard in my view. It is not as good as the exterior, but it is definitely a step up from their 747 and is far better than the X-Craft model. So the X-Craft has an Embraer 195. It's not anywhere close as this in terms of the quality of the textures and the details that this model has. The overhead panel is something I like in this aircraft. I think it's done quite well. Here's the overhead panel. As you can see, it's done quite well with all the knobs and switches. By the way, not everything is clickable in this aircraft, but as you can see, it's done quite well. High resolution textures, quite sharp and detailed. And this aircraft does have a passenger cabin, so we're going to head back here and let's go and take a look at the passenger cabin. There we go. For those of you who like passenger cabins, this one does have a fully modeled passenger cabin. Again, the textures are not that great, but I personally don't care too much about passenger cabins. I really prefer to see a high resolution cockpit, and that's pretty much it for me. My final remarks on the interior 3D modeling and the texture work is that SSG has built a reasonably well-modeled 3D cockpit, somewhat immersive, not very high quality in my view, but still enjoyable. Let us now take a look at the features that have been integrated into this SSG model. If you look up here, you'll see that there is an adjustment display, and hitting numpad key 8 will focus the view on it. It gives you access to show and hide the yoke, seat, rain effect, and the stair. You can also manipulate the aircraft doors, connect or disconnect the GPU, adjust your field of view, engage the tow truck, and change the units from kilograms to pounds. Let's go ahead and bring the stair, and we're going to open a few doors here. Let's open this one as well. And let's head over to the external view. As you can see, the doors are now open and the stair is making its way to the aircraft. Good stuff. Another thing that you can do is, if we go to the second page here, you are able to select the payload based on a predefined preset. Gives you from empty to full. You have here your zero fuel and payload. You can set the payload here if you like. So now this becomes manual, or you can click this button and just select a preset. And you can do the same thing with the fuel. So if you select the option where it says FMC manual select, this is selected now. We can enter the fuel manually to the aircraft or defuel, or you can select on FMC prediction. And what this does is, based on the actual route of the aircraft, the fuel will be predicted for the flight. Okay, so this is pretty much in terms of what the options are. Of course, this aircraft comes with the Dream Engine plugin for the manipulation of sounds. This is available here, config, and now you can manipulate the aircraft sounds from the Dream Engine plugin menu. As it is always the case with my first look videos, is that we're going to start the aircraft now from its cold and dark state. We're going to program the FMS for a fictitious flight, and we're going to depart Baku City to see how the aircraft handles up in the air. We are ready now to power up the aircraft, and powering up the SSG Embraer E195 is actually quite simple. The GPU is available. It is in use now. Battery 1, battery 2. And we should start getting some lights here. Let's see, what else do we need to do? Emergency lights are armed, everything else. By the way, not everything is modeled here. Nav lights can go on. The sounds are not extremely realistic, but it's better than default sounds, right? Let's cancel the caution here. And what else here? Electrical pump is on, and everything else looks fine to me. We're going to turn on the non-smoking and fasten seatbelt signs on. And now we are pretty much ready to start programming the FMC or FMS, whatever you like to call it. Okay, so we're going to head over here and we're going to go to flight plan. And we're going to check that everything is okay and everything looks okay. Position initialization, we're just going to load this one here. We're going to go to RTE and we're going to enter our origin, which is Baku, uniform Bravo, Bravo, Bravo. And our fictitious flight today is to Kuwait International. So Oscar Kilo, Bravo Kilo. And we stick that here in the destination. Flight ID is, let's see, Q874. And we're going to stick that down here and activate. Okay, so now the flight plan is activated, and we're going to head over to the second page here, and we still don't have anything here. So let's head over to performance. Performance limit, you don't really need to do anything here. We're going to go to departure, and we're going to select runway 34, and we're just going to select the first available SID and transition. Activate, and now we can start looking at some data here. Okay, back to performance. Let me see here, what's there? Fuel management. No, that doesn't work. Again, the FMC is quite it's quite daunting. The flows are just, you know, kind of strange. Okay, so TOC. Now, another thing I've noticed is that this is the top of climb altitude, and you can't really set it for some reason. So you have to always put the initial cruise altitude, and it will set that altitude across the board. Let's try it here, 250. Yeah, that doesn't work. Step increment, fuel reserve, we're going to say 200 kilograms. And next. And everything else here. Okay, so this is where we're going to set the cruise altitude for the flight. And once you set it here, it will be set everywhere. So we're going to say, what, 250. And we're going to set that here. So 25,000 feet. And this is our zero fuel at altitude, flight level 10,000. Confirm in it. Okay. So now we can head back over to the performance and say descent and select the arrival. And let's say that we're going to arrive through the Devon to Delta, star through the DET transition. And we're going to do an ILS approach runway 15 left through the KOA transition and activate unable cruise altitude. Yeah, that's fine. Clear. and RT data. Okay, so now if we go to our flight plan, now we can see all the flight plan with all the restrictions and discos. So we're going to clear those discontinuities. From the performance menu now, we can go to Takeoff, and we're going to go to the second page. We have selected flaps 2 for departure. And next page, now the takeoff reference speeds, V1, VRotate, V2, and VFS, those you need to pick up from the aircraft documentation based on the aircraft current weight. We're just going to put 131, 134, for VRotate, 140 for V2, and VFS is the speed at which the aircraft will climb to its cruise altitude. So we're going to put 158. There we go. And now we are pretty much ready to start the aircraft. We're going to take a look here and take a look. And by the way, the pitch trim, same thing. You have to consult the aircraft manual to find out what pitch trim is required based on the aircraft current weight. Okay, flight plan. And by the way, you can go to the map here. You can select what you like from the map here, so you can remove and add things as you please. You can also select the weather radar, terrain, or completely turn it off. We're just going to put the weather here. And then you can go to the actual plan and take a look at your plan, and you can step through similar to what you would do in any other FMC. As you can see, we have quite a bit of a disaster here we have a disco here, so let's clear that, activate. Okay, so still a bit of a mess here, but we're not going to get there, so we're not going to have to worry about it. Okay, so we're head back to map. We can depart now. We can start the aircraft and taxi and depart. We're going to set our altitude to 35,000, and we can do this here. It's faster to just use the mouse wheel. Okay, 25,000. All right, and that is set now, and we can actually start the aircraft now from its cold and dark state. So what we can do is we can turn on our beacon lights, red beacon, and we are now pretty much ready to start our engines. Doesn't really take much to start the engines, so let's go ahead and connect the actually we don't okay, fine. Let's engage the tow truck. Doesn't want to engage for some reason here. Let's see, to engage, release the parking brake. Okay, parking brake released, tow is engaged, and we're going to say, all right, let's clear that. Now, if you want to move the aircraft, you need to, I'm not sure why the warning is going now. All right, there we go. You need to use your rudder pedals to change the aircraft. As you can see here, I'm just pressing on the aircraft pedals to the rudder pedals, that is, to change the orientation of the push. So let's open the starter covers here, and we're going to start with the by the way, did we ever start the APU? I don't think we did. So again, you can see that this is not a study level aircraft, so I think the GPU remained connected even while we were pushing back. That's my bad. Well, it's not there, but the aircraft's still powered. Not sure. Okay, fine. We're just going to go ahead and start the APU now. And let's see here. Let's go ahead and start the engines. Again, immediate start. Again, this is not a study level aircraft. It's definitely fun if you like this type of aircraft. But again, if you're looking for something complex, detailed, this is probably not thing for you. But yeah. All right, so the engine is coming up now. Let's go ahead and start the other one too. and we are going to click here on FMS, go back to map. All right, looks like both engines are okay now. We're just going to wait for the second engine here to come up on the display. There we go. So the engine's there. We are ready now. And let's go ahead and taxi to the runway. Okay, taxi lights are on. And we can leave the strobes for now. All right, let's head over to the runway. Now, before you can steer the aircraft, you need to just kind of move this guy a little bit here. Okay, so we can use the rudder pedals now. And let's go. Release parking brake. And let's give it some power. We are ready to go now, so we're going to release the parking brake and we're going to give the aircraft some power. Airspeed active and tow gun. That's right. Gears going up. And let's see here. Auto throttle. We're going to begin retracting the flaps. And at this point we can click on VNAV. Autopilot and nav, and now the aircraft will navigate using the FMS. Alright folks, we continue to climb to our cruise altitude, and this pretty much brings us to the conclusion of our video today. My final remarks on the SSG Embraer E195 and E170 is that it is a well-made aircraft. If you have an affinity for this aircraft, then I would recommend this model over the X-Craft's model. Definitely from the visual perspective, it looks a whole lot better. The aircraft handles a lot better than the X-Craft's aircraft. Now, in terms of the price, I personally think that this aircraft is a bit overpriced for what it does and for the different options that are available. So let's take a quick look here at the X-Plane.org store. This is the SSG E-Jets Evolution Series. This gives you the entire bundle of the E170 and E195. And if you buy those aircraft individually, you're going to end up paying $44.95, which I think is slightly expensive for this aircraft, for it does. But if you have an affinity for this aircraft, this is the better model, and there is something available for you. But the price, I honestly think it's quite expensive. So my final score for the SSG Embraer E195/170 is a 6 out of 10. Well folks, until next time, please take care of yourselves and each other, and I will see you all very soon. Thanks for watching, and bye-bye for now.